Hey there, data lovers, and welcome to another I Love Data Fridays podcast here at the International Data Evaluation Center on the campuses of The Ohio State University. Ladies and gentlemen, this edition of I Love Data Fridays is from our summer break edition of summer of 2017, and this podcast is a follow-up podcast that we did back in June about making the OS total score growth chart. So today I'm going to be talking about a small change in the directions that I gave you. If you're specifically using Microsoft Excel version 2010. So let's get right to it. So, hey, who's talking data to you? Well, of course, you've got me, Jeff Breimer-Bashore, Director of IT and Operations here at the International Data Evaluation Center. And if you remember from our last video back in June, we showed you how to make a OS total score growth chart just like this one, or similar to this one. And today we're going to be talking about the labels at the top of each bar right here, these labels. And in Excel 2010, it doesn't give us the option to use value from cells to make this label. So what the heck are you talking about, Jeff? Let me get to my sample spreadsheet here. So in Excel, so this is a sample chart that we used in our last video. That we were making the OS total score growth chart, and when we came to the values, now notice that my values don't have the 1.2 years worth of growth or anything like that. So I can go, and so in the last video we showed that you can get those, make that by saying use values from cells, and then Excel gives us the option to select which cells we want to use. Well, in Excel 2010, we don't have that option. To get values from cells. So how can we get our labels on top of our charts in Excel 2010? So that is what I'm going to show you how to do. All right, we're going to see exactly how to do that. So I'm going to switch back over to my slide here. So ladies and gentlemen, let's get right to it and show you how to do that. All right, folks, here we are. We're going to show you how to do this now. Now, I tell you what, I know I've got this chart already set up, but I'm going to go ahead and delete it, and I'm going to do this chart from scratch again. I am not going to look up these values again or recompute the years of growth. I'm going to leave that there. We're just going to make the chart. If you want to see how to get to this point, go ahead and click on the little link that appears right here in the video, and that'll take you back to our video where it shows you how to make this chart. And then when you get to the step about the labels, you can come back here. If you're using Excel 2010, you can come back here and see how you make the labels. So, but I am going to make the chart again here, and so you guys can follow along step by step. All right. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to click and select all of my cells here except the labels column. We are going to leave that alone. All right, and then I'm going to go say Insert. I'm going to come over to the line chart button right here. I'm going to click on the line chart. I'm going to select our 2D line chart. Now remember, there is no OS total score growth chart option in Excel. We are actually making a line chart, and then we're going to manipulate the line chart to get the chart that we want, which is a pretty common thing that you have to do with Excel. You start with one chart and then you manipulate it to make it look like the chart that you really want. All right, so we made our line chart. Now I'm going to click on the bottom blue line here, so I get all the little dots, the little highlighted points there. And I am going to come up to this button right here that says Add Chart Element. And I'm going to click on that. And I am going to select Up-Down Bars. Okay, here we go, Up-Down Bars. And this adds some up-down bars to my chart. Now these bars are white, and in our chart we want them to be blue. So I'm going to click on them. I just clicked on it, and then I'm going to right click. I'm going to come up to this fill option right here, this fill button. I'll click on that, and I'm going to select this dark blue right here. Okay, good. So now you see that our chart has our blue bars. Now we still have these lines here. We don't want those lines. So I'm going to click on the bottom line once, and then right click, and we're going to go to the outline option, and I'm going to select no outline. Makes my line disappear. I'm going to come click with my left mouse button on my orange line, right click, and I'm going to go up to the outline option, and I'm going to say no outline. Now our orange line is gone. Now you'll notice at the bottom of the chart we have this thing down here that says fall in year end. We don't need that. That's our legend. Excel automatically makes legends sometimes, so I'm going to click on this legend, and I'm simply just going to hit the delete button on my keyboard. Legend is gone. All right, now I'm going to drag the corner down here, make this chart a little bigger, drag this up. Now you'll notice that my scale is probably not the best scale in the world. We don't need it going down to 0. We could probably get away with going down to about 520. So I'm going to right click. I've just right clicked on my axis. I'm going to say format axis, and I'm going to make the minimum value 520, and I think my maximum value can be, let's see, let's look at what's my biggest score. Oh no, I need no, I'm sorry, I'm not thinking well this morning. 360. I'm going to make my minimum value 360, and I'm going to make my maximum value about 560. There we go. I'm going to change my units to 25. All right, good. I like that scale a little bit better. Very good. Now, I'm just going to make my fonts a little bigger on this. I clicked on my home tab. I'm going to click on the increase font size button. Bump that up to 12. Good. Now comes the labels part. And this part, once again, is specifically for Excel 2010. All right, so to do our labels, first thing we have to do is click right about in the middle of the bar here at the top. And you notice how when I did that, I left clicked with my mouse. I got these little square highlights here on the bar. That's exactly what I want. I'm going to right click on this one then, and I'm going to say add data. I'm going to select add data labels and come over here to add data labels. Now you'll notice that first of all, it put the labels off to the left side here, and it's put the actual values that you find in the bars right up here. So we're going to format our data labels a little bit. I'm going to click on one of my data labels, right click, I'm going to say format data labels, and I am going to have it put the data labels above my bars. Excellent. Okay, I got that. My data labels are in a good position. Now we're coming to the part where we want to put the labels up here instead of the numbers that that are appearing there. Okay, and as I said before, in Excel 2010, when we say format data labels, we do not have this option to use value from cells, but we can get around that. So here's how we do it. All right, so first you're going to with the left mouse button, you're going to click once on 542.5, and then you're going to click again, and this second click makes it so that Excel selects only this very first number. All right, see how the very first number has that rectangle around it and none of the other numbers do? That's exactly what we want. Then we are going to come up to here. This is called the formula bar. This is the formula bar. We are going to left click in the formula bar to get our little blinking cursor. Then we are going to type the equal sign. Equal sign right there. Then I'm going to take my mouse, come down here to my label for my discontinued bar, and I am going to click on the cell with my left mouse button. Click. All right, and you should get something that looks similar to this up in your formula bar. If you got something similar to that, that is excellent, that is perfect. Now, I'm going to take my finger and I am going to hit enter on my keyboard. And voila, there we go. It now says 1.2 years of growth. So now I'm going to come to the next bar. I'm going to take my mouse. I am going to click on the number. All right, I don't have to click twice. I can just click once. It gives me it just selects the single number. I am going to come back up to the formula bar, click with the mouse, the left button, click equals, come down to the label for my recommended bar, click on that, and then hit enter on the keyboard with my finger. There we go. That one's done. Going to come over to this number, click once with the left mouse button, come back up to the formula bar. I will hit equals on the keyboard. I will then take my mouse, come down to the label for the full program kids, click on that, and then hit enter on the keyboard with my finger. There we go. Then I'm finally going to come over to the very last bar here. Then I'm going to click on the 553, click up in the formula bar, type equals, select 1 year of growth. That's for my average first grader in the United States. And I'm going to hit enter on the keyboard with my finger. There we go. So ladies and gentlemen, there you go. You've got it. This is how you would do the labels if you were using Excel 2010. For those who are using Excel 2013, you should have that option to use the values in cells. But if you're in Excel 2010, you can just use formulas to add those labels at the top of your bar. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for watching another I Love Data Fridays video, and we will talk data to you later.